السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. رواه مسلم. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما. My respected elders and brothers, this conversation has been going on for the last few weeks, whether in this masjid or other masajids, and between the Muslim brothers, especially those brothers and sisters who are from Pakistan, that the devastating floods that have come, what me and you can do to help these people. Announcement was made 2 weeks ago for donation also. So this is not the first time these disasters have taken place. Exactly a month ago, devastating floods came in Bangladesh also. And before also these incidents happened, the entire Muslim Ummah in the far corners of the world is in a very difficult situation, whether it's the natural calamities and disasters or whether man-made calamities and disasters. So the question that comes in that whenever these devastating things happen, what should be the reaction of a believer? As a believer, what is my responsibility for myself, and what is my responsibility for the people who are affected, specifically speaking, in any corner of the world by these disasters? So inshallah, I will try to cover this today. The first thing we should keep in mind is that whenever these things happen, the first tool that we should use is to make abundant dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes shaitan puts in our mind that it's money, it's the resources, it's the manpower that helps the people. What can dua do? The ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell us that dua is the most effective tool, more than the manpower also, and more than the money also. When we hear that disasters have taken place, who puts in our heart that we should give money? We should fly and help these people out. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So du'as, when accepted by Allah, automatically is a reason for decisions being passed by Allah. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, dua helps before a disaster also, and dua helps after the disaster also. Why? Because if you make dua before a calamity is about to come, Allah will save you. And when you make dua, once calamity has taken place, Allah will relieve you from the after effects of that calamity. And it's the greatest sabab. This dunya is darul asbab, is made in a system, is made in such a way that it runs by cause and effect. So the greatest effective tool is dua. Dunya darul asbab hai. और सबसे बड़ा सबब मदद का क्या है? वो अल्लाह पाक से दुआ है. आप दुआ या करेंगे, हो सकता है वहाँ अल्लाह किसी के दिल में डाले कि जाओ उसकी जाके मदद करो. तो आपके पास पैसा भी नहीं है, आप जा भी नहीं सकते हैं पाकिस्तान, लेकिन आपने यहाँ बैठ के दुआ कर ली कि या अल्लाह उनकी सारी ज़रूरियात पूरी हो जाएं जो मुतासर हुए. अल्लाह पूरी दुनिया से किसी को भी इस्तेमाल करके आपकी दुआ की बुनियाद पर ज़रूरियात पूरी करवा देगा. So this is the effect of dua. So the first thing me and you should do is to make abundant dua for ourselves also and for these people. And dua doesn't need to be in the masjid. Dua doesn't need to be after salah. Sure, in the masjid also, after salah also, but it can be done lying on the bed also. When eating also, when driving to work also, you get a message that so and so has happened. And this dua comes out from the heart, oh Allah, provide for these people. Ya Allah, inki zaruriyat ko pura kar. Wherever we are, walking, sitting, getting up, we should make abundant dua. Second thing that needs to be done is istighfar, seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُم. More or less meaning in English that whatever disasters and musibat comes upon you is the result of your own hands. So majority time speaking, it could be a test from Allah also. I'm not labeling these floods as a punishment from Allah. Allah knows best. But it could be one of the two. It could be a test from Allah for these people, so the levels can be elevated and their sins be forgiven. Or it could be a punishment from Allah. There are always two reasons for anything that happens, either one of the two reasons. But Allah says in the Quran, most of the time it's the result of your own hands. Okay? وَيَعْفُوا عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. Though Allah forgives most of the sins, very few sins Allah makes you taste it in this world, otherwise Allah forgives most of them. Okay? So I need to do istighfar, we all need to do istighfar. And it is said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has provided, there are two amans, there are two sources of protection. One will go away and one will remain with you until the day of judgment. He said, I am the first source of protection. Once I leave this world, this source of protection will be taken away from my ummah. Because Allah says in the Quran, as long as you are alive, Allah will not give azab to your ummah. And the second source of protection is doing istighfar. And the easiest wordings of istighfar is astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. All of us can learn this and do this if at least 100 times a day. If more, 100 times after every salah. Do it while driving. Do it while going to bed. Do it sitting on the musalla after salah anytime. So we need to seek forgiveness for ourselves also, and we need to seek forgiveness for the entire ummah also. Third thing we need to do is we do the shukr of Allah. Allah ka shukr ada karen ki Allah ne hame bacha liya. We should thank Allah that Allah saved us from this calamity. We are not better than those people. Allah knows best who are good, who are better, we or them. Allah chose them, their number came, the next could be my and your number. Okay? Being in the US doesn't save us from disasters. Being in a first world country doesn't give preference to us in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So we should be thankful to Allah that no matter how high the prices have gone, inflation is more than 8% in the last 1 year, but still we go and we are able to buy groceries and whatever we need, whether they are on sale or whether they are not on sale. And these people are starving for even one time proper meal. Okay? They don't know where the next meal will come from and when it will come. So we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this. When we do the shukr of Allah, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Allah will increase Allah will increase the ni'mats and bounties upon us. وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ. And if you are ungrateful to Allah, إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. Allah says, indeed my punishment is very severe. The ni'mats, the favors will be taken away. And the fourth and the last thing is, my respected elders and brothers, we should help them out. Whether monetarily speaking, whether physically speaking, whether financially speaking, whatever their needs are, we try to help them out for the sake of Allah. Why do we need to help them out? For two reasons. They are our brothers and sisters in faith. We all are bounded by La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the example of believers in their love, mercy and compassion is like the example of one body. If one limb has an ache, the entire body becomes sleepless and fever comes up. These are more or less the translation of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ईमान वालों की मिसाल आपस में मोहब्बत के एतबार से, बाहमी ताउन के एतबार से और रहम खाने के एतबार से एक जिस्म की तरह है. हदीस का मफहूम है, जिस्म का एक भी हिस्से में अगर दर्द हो तो जिस्म की नींद उड़ जाती है और बुखार में जिस्म मुब्तला हो जाता है. So we are one body no matter which part of the world we are living. So it is our right upon them that we should help them. Second reason we are binded to help them is they are our brothers and sisters in humanity. We are all the sons and daughters of Adam alayhi salam. So from this perspective, even if somebody doesn't believe in Allah, no matter which religion he or she follows, we have a right to help these people in the far corners of the world wherever a disaster hits. So the bond of faith and iman and the bond of humanity makes it upon us that we should do as much as possible for these people. And the last thing, my respected elders and brothers, is helping them out. What will Allah give us? It's beyond our comprehension. But what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us some examples to encourage us in his ahadith. How many women are there that became widows by these floods? How many boys and girls are there that became yatim and orphans because of these floods? When we help them, what will we get? The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Bukhari says, "As-sa'i al-armilati wal-miskin." A person who helps a woman without a husband, maybe he passed away or maybe she was widowed, wal-miskin, and he helps a poor person. He does the effort. You are just collecting money and you're sending it back home, and an organization is doing this effort for you. Everything is included in it. What is the reward? Kal mujahidi fi sabilillah, as if you're fighting in the battlefield for the sake of Islam. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh says, and the narrator says, وَأَحْسَبُهُ قَالَ, and I think Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he will get the reward of that person who stays up every night praying tahajjud in front of Allah. And a person who fasts 360 days without any interruption. This is the reward of helping a widow or a poor person. Another hadith of Bukhari, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a person who helps a yatim and orphan, whether he is related to him or he is not related to him. The orphans back home are not blood-wise related to us. They are related to us because of being a human being and because of being a Muslim. That's the relation. So they are not related to us. So whether related or not, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he and me will be like him on the day, like this on the day of judgment. And he used his index finger and used his middle finger and did the ishara like this with little bit gap. So a person who helps the orphan will be standing so close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of judgment. These are such huge rewards. In other words, Allah has given us this opportunity to earn from this situation. The hadith that I mentioned in the beginning, the hadith of Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a person who removes one difficulty from a believer, Allah will remove one of the difficulties from him on the day of judgment. Wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhi. As long as a person is helping a person in need, Allah will be directly in the help of that person. So my respected elders and brothers, these are words of encouragement first of all for me and all of us. I'm not doing this khutbah so you can donate in the box that is there for the floods of Pakistan. This is not the reason. The purpose is just to encourage and tell us this is not an effort of one day or 1 week of 1 month. The magnitude of this disaster is so huge that it will take maybe a decade or more than a decade to bring these people back on the same level or maybe on a level lower than that based on the disaster that has taken place. So this requires a continuous effort. Through the resources we have, go there and help them out. Send the money to the organizations you have trust upon. Send it to your relatives if they are there to help them. If you have no source and you want to help, then sure, the masjid is also collecting the funds. So this is also another avenue. So the purpose was just to make us realize that this is a continuous effort and there is huge reward for us in this. Whatever was said and heard, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding of these things. Ameen. Brothers can inshallah stand up, fill in the gaps and pray the sunnahs. Those who haven't prayed